yoga friends, I'm Sarah Mapes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's yoga flow will focus on easing pain in our lower backs. So let's get started. Come down onto your back with your legs in bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. We'll start with some breathing. Inhale, fill your belly up with air. Exhale, let your belly sink down towards your mat. Inhale, fill your belly up with air. Exhale, let your belly button drop back down towards your mat. Do this 2 more times. Using our diaphragms to breathe makes for a less anxious day, something we all want. So straighten your legs out on your mat. Engage your core.
Okay.
Lift your leg up towards the sky. Lower your leg to hover just off your mat. Remember to keep your core engaged and remember to breathe. Last one, number 5. Slowly with control, lower your leg down to the mat. Let's give the other leg a run. Lifting your leg up towards the sky. Lowering your leg slowly with control to hover just off your mat. Coming back up. Don't forget to breathe. Core engaged. Last one. Rolling over, coming onto all fours. Curve your back for a cat stretch. Keep it in this curve and then take your right leg out behind you, maintaining that curve, and pump your leg. Take a few breaths here. Bring your right leg back to your mat. Bring your left leg out. Keeping our backs rounded in this cat stretch. Core is engaged. 3 breaths here. Bring your knee back to the mat. Move through some circles, kind of like a cat-cow, but coming back through child's pose. So we did 3 one way, come back and do 3 the other way. And then come forward to a forearm plank. Tuck your toes under. Extend your legs out behind you. Take a few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your right arm around to the side. Turn your body around. Lift your right arm up to the sky, coming into a side forearm plank. Holding plank is hard work. You can do it. Take a few breaths here. Bring your right arm down to the mat, coming through your center forearm plank, switching around to the other side. Right arm's on the mat, left arm comes up to the sky. Take a few breaths here. Come back through center. Bring your knees back to the mat. Bottom up in the air. Stretch your arms out long, coming into puppy pose. Feel the stretch. Feel into your body. How are you feeling today? And then bringing your hands back. Ground firmly down into the mat. Index fingers long. Tuck your toes under. And bring your hips up towards the sky, coming into our first downward facing dog of the practice. Wiggle out your dog if that feels good. Stretch your hands out. Fingers spread wide. Feel the stretch going from your feet up through your whole body, down your back, your arms into your hands. It's a full body stretch. Feel it everywhere. Shoulders coming back towards the torso. Coming up onto the balls of your feet. Curve your back, shift your weight forward, coming into a plank. Shift your weight and roll back into a downward facing dog. Let's do that again 2 more times. Rolling forward, coming into a plank. Going back to downward facing dog. Rolling forward 1 more time. Rolling back to a downward facing dog. Look forward towards your hands. Walk or step your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do some sun salutes. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, come back to plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, look forward. Walk or step your feet to the front of your mat. Coming into a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, come back to plank and lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, look forward. Walk or step your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, your arms up to the sky. Exhale to heart center. Let's do one Sun B. Bend your knees, coming into Utkatasana, upward chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, come back to plank, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your right leg forward. For warrior one, hips are both facing towards the front of the mat. Bring your arms up to the sky. Exhale, frame your front foot. Bring that foot back. Come down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your left foot forward for warrior one. Hips are forward, knees stacked over your ankle. Inhale, your arms up. Exhale, frame your front foot. Bring your left leg back. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, look forward towards your hands. Walk or jump your feet to the front of your mat. Coming into a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Coming back through Utkatasana, upward chair pose. Exhale, come up to standing. We're going to do some balance work next. So ground down firmly with your left leg and bring your right leg into tree. That could be here or it could be on your thigh somewhere. You don't want to put pressure on your knee. We don't want to hurt our knees. So either below or above. You can even use a wall if that feels good. And find your drishti, find your spot to gaze at. And then think of yourself strong and firm like a tree. Make sure that your hip stays lifted. Don't sink down in. Keep your hip lifted and stand strong and firm. Whatever your favorite kind of tree is, that's the kind you get to picture yourself being. Take a few breaths here. Slowly with control, bring your right leg back down to the mat, your right foot, I should say. Ground down firmly with your right foot. Spread your toes out wide. feel into this. And then bring your left foot wherever your tree is today. Positioning yourself, making sure that this hip stays lifted. Find your drishti, your spot to gaze at. It will help you to balance. Take a few breaths here. With control, release your left foot, bring it back down to the mat. We're going to do another balancing pose. This might be a good place to grab a strap if you have one. You can use your strap to wrap around your big foot. We're going to either take hold of our foot, first 2 fingers around your big toe in yoga toe lock, and then we're going to extend our leg out in front of us. You can use a strap for this if you want. It would look like this. Wrapping your strap around your foot and then bringing it out in front of you, taking hold of the strap with your right hand, and then we'll bring it out to the side afterwards. So ground down firmly, spreading our toes out, keeping our hip lifted. Take hold of your big toe with your right foot, right hand. Bring your leg out in front of you, hand at your waist, take a few breaths here. Find drishti, your spot to gaze at. Really helps balance, finding something that isn't moving to look at. Maybe it's a dirty fleck on the wall, maybe it's a nail, or a picture that you just love looking at on your wall. Find your drishti. Then bring your leg out to the side. And if you want to, you can gaze out over the opposite shoulder. Again, finding your drishti, your spot to gaze at. I'm a little wobbly. Then bringing your leg back around to the front. Let go of your leg. Try and keep your leg up in the air. Don't let it just drop. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Replace your foot on your mat. Give yourself a bit of a wiggle. I'm ready for a wiggle. Ground down firmly with your right foot on your mat, toes spread wide. Either use your strap or take hold of your left big toe with your left hand. Find drishti, your spot to gaze at. Right hand on right waist. Extend your leg out in front of you. Take a few breaths here. Often it's easier to balance on one side than the other. Totally normal. Our bodies aren't quite even. That's why we do these things, so we can work on it and develop it. Take your left leg out to the side, and then if you want to, move your gaze to look out beyond your right shoulder. Take a few breaths here. Then bring your left leg back around. Release your foot, but keep your foot up in the air. Just a couple more breaths. You can do it. It's hard work, but you can do it. And then with control, bring your foot back to the mat. Give yourself a good shake out. Come back to the front of your mat. Take your right leg out behind you in a high lunge. So our heel is lifted, our hips are square, facing the front of our mat. Knee is stacked over your ankle, making sure that your knee doesn't come out in front, but just don't let it go past your ankle, but your knee is going out over your second toe. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Take a few breaths here. On one of your exhales, bring your hands back to heart center. Twist around to the left. See if you can hook your right knee, your right elbow to your left knee. And then really feel into this twist. Other options would be to bring your right hand down to your left foot and extend your left arm up towards the sky. Or maybe you can find the bind. My fingers are barely touching. I'm not feeling it today. And it's different from day to day. That's the beautiful thing about yoga. We just have to make friends with our body wherever we are today. Bringing your hands back to heart center, coming out of the twist. Step your feet together. Give yourself a shake out there if you need one. And then, grounding down firmly with your right foot, bring your left leg back into this high lunge. And reach for the wall if you need one. Leaving your knee stacked over your ankle, hips facing towards the front of your mat. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Take a few breaths here. On one of your exhales, bring your hands back to heart center. Twist around to the right. Hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. And breathe. If this is too hard, you can bring your knee down to the mat. Or you can leave it lifted. And you can certainly bring your left arm down to the outside of your right foot and extend your right arm out towards the sky. Finding the bind is also an option. Take a few breaths here. These twists are so good for our backs. Bringing your hands back to heart center. Carefully unwind yourself. Step your feet together. Come up to standing. Step your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Bend your knees. Bring your hands to heart center. Come into goddess. From here, we're going to do some squats. Stick your bottom out as we do these squats so that there's a little bit of curve in your lower back. And then start to pulse. Take 3 breaths here. Come up to standing. Bring your feet together. Let's do it again. Step your feet apart. Come down. Let's hold goddess this time. Take 3 breaths just holding this pose without the pulsing. Come back to standing. Step your feet together. Come to the front of your mat. The next pose that we're going to do, I learned from one of my teachers. It's really good for our lower backs. It's a variation on Warrior 3. And so, bend both knees. I'm standing firmly on my left foot. My toes are spread wide, my foot is ground down, so both knees are bent. And then I'm going to fold forward. And now I'm going to lift my leg and my arms at the same time. I'm going to do this 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring your right leg back down to the mat. And we'll do the left side. So spreading our toes wide, grounding down firmly into the mat. Both legs are bent. Hinging forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, you did it. Cool. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is to come down and sit in Malasana. This is also really good for your legs, for your back, for everything. A Malasana once a day. So if you need to use the wall, you can do that. And just come down as far as you can. Another good way to measure, I'm going to do this facing you, but another good way to measure how far with Malasana is that your feet should be about as wide as your mat. So hands to heart center, bend your knees, slowly lower yourself down into Malasana, pushing your knees out with your elbows, rock back and forth here from side to side, get comfortable in this posture. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. From here, we're going to come back onto all fours on our mats. We'll do a little bit of cat-cow. So, wrists are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, curve your back. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, curve your back. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, curve your back. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, curve your back, lift your knees just off the mat. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, curve your back, lift your knees just off your mat. Bringing your knees back to the mat. Coming either into a good puppy stretch or into child's pose. I'm coming to a wide leg child's pose, and I'm bringing my head all the way down to the mat. Move your arms out to the left side. Stretch out your right side. Bringing your hands through center, coming out to the right side with your arms. Feel a nice stretch in the left side of your body. Bringing your hands back to center. And then coming forward and lowering down onto your belly. Arms are out long. From here, we're going to come into locust pose. So lift your head, shoulders, arms, legs. Take a few breaths here. And lower yourself back down to the mat. And lift your head, shoulders, arms, legs. Repeating locust. Coming back to your mat. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Elbows are tight in by your sides. Inhale, lift yourself up to cobra. Exhale, lower back down to your mat. Inhale, lifting up through cobra. Exhale, lower back down to your mat. Inhale, coming up through cobra. Exhale, lower down to your mat. Inhale, coming up through cobra. Exhale, lower back down to your mat. And from here, roll onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock back and forth across your spine if that feels good. And then take your knees out to your left side and twist around, turn your head rather. You're twisting already. Turn your head and look out the opposite direction from your knees. Legs go left, head goes right. Your arms can be in cactus or out to a T, whatever you have room for. Take a few breaths here. Bringing your legs through center, drop them over to the other side. Turn your head the opposite direction that your legs are going. And bring your knees back into center. Give your knees a good hug. Now from here, straighten your left leg out, and we're going to do the same thing that we did balancing on our mats. So it might be a good spot to grab your strap again if you want, and wrap your strap around your foot, or if you can reach around with your big toe, either one works well here. So either use your strap or wrap your first two fingers around your right big toe. Straighten your right leg up to the sky. Take a couple of breaths here. And then open your leg out to the side. Bring your right leg back up towards the ceiling or the sky. Release your foot. Bringing your right leg down to the mat and your left leg up. Take hold of your left big toe with your left two fingers on your left hand. Straighten your leg out to the sky. Apparently I can't talk today. Feel the stretch in your body. This gives you a good gauge on where you can really reach. Sometimes it's easier to do the reach without the balance. But practicing our balance is still important, so we have to do both. Take your leg out to the side. Remembering to breathe. And then bringing your left leg back up to center and release your leg. Bring your knees in, take hold to the outsides of your feet. Bring your legs up into a happy baby. Rock back and forth across your spine. Give your back a massage. We're grateful for our backs. They take us everywhere we need to go, after all. From here, you can straighten your legs out on your mat, or bring your legs back into bound ankle pose. Wherever it feels good for you, it's time for Shavasana. Take your arms out to the sides of your body, palms facing up towards the ceiling of the sky. Close your eyes. Let your face relax. Let your eyes drop down into your head. Soften your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Be present in this moment and observe your body. Don't make any changes. Just observe your inhales, your exhales. Feel free to stay in a longer Shavasana if you want. Start to slowly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe circle your wrists and your ankles. Stretch your arms out overhead. Slowly roll over onto one side, resting your head on your arm. Slowly make your way up to a seated position. With your eyes closed, bring your hands to heart center. You took the time to come to your mat today. You took care of yourself. Taking care of yourself will help you to lift those around you and to better take care of the loved ones that you have in your life. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. If you like this practice, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Please feel free to make comments below. Let me know anything that you're interested in doing with yoga that you'd like me to incorporate into our practices. I hope to see you again soon on the mat. Everybody's backs feel better.